Hello everyone and welcome back to Learn with Cameron. I'm Cameron. I'm going to start a new series on this channel. I'm going to call it Camping with Cameron. I realized recently that I've been to all but 3 of the county-run campgrounds in San Diego County. I haven't been to Wyoming, Vallecito, or Potrero. So I'm going to fix that starting today. I'm going out to Potrero. I have a site reserved. I'm going to go out there and have a little peace and quiet away from the city and see what they have to offer out there. See how easy it is to drive out there, what it's like out there when you get there, how quiet it is, and I'm going to come up with my own little kind of rating system for the county parks. I'll see you out there.
Turn left onto Potrero Valley Road. In 3/4 of a mile, turn right onto Potrero Park Drive.
All right, we are all checked in. I'm in spot 22. Got the little brochure, and I just noticed there's some pigs here, so I'm gonna see what's the story with the pigs. Meet our pigs, Pepper and Petunia. Potrero, the pasturing place. Oh, hello. Just chilling. Kids. What else do we have here? Huh. Looks like we have a hawk of some sort. Hello, friend. Hello. Don't mean to scare you. Just want to say hi. You're sitting in your little thing. Are you spooked? You're beautiful. Yeah. Hi. Hello. Well, I certainly wasn't expecting to see a hawk today, or a pig, but let's get back to the car and go to this campsite. We have checked in, so I'm going to go now find our camping spot, spot 22. So we go around, there's looks like nobody else here, so let's go. Let's go and enjoy the peaceful quiet. It's a Wednesday, so I don't expect there to be a whole lot of people out here, but still very nice and quiet. Here we go, tent campsites. There's one group or 2 groups here. 8, 4. Numbers are going up. This campsite kind of reminds me of it in its layout and style of Lake Marina, which I've been to before. I'm liking it. 19, 18, oh, number's going down. Not 20. Here we are. Not too shabby. There's some nice shade. We're kind of away from other people, which I like. And the bathroom is back there. Let's see. As I mentioned, one of my criteria for a campsite is the ability to charge my electric car. I'm going to get that all set up. Pop up in the port. I've got my portable charger in the back of the car, and I'll show you how to set it up on the little pedestal. That's a tip that I learned along the way that I'll pass on for free. So we've got our electric pedestal here, a bunch of different kinds of outlets. I'm gonna throw the breaker, turn it off before I plug in. So I've got my charger, I'm gonna plug into the wall outlet kind of style. Connection here. Tip I learned from watching other videos, other people's videos, is plug everything in first before you turn the power on. So I've got plugged into the pedestal, plugged into the car. Car doesn't recognize anything because the power is off. And now we're going to flick power back on. We get a green light. And we get a green light. So we're charging. I thought a bit more about the charging situation. I left home with 100%, so I used 25% to get here. It took about 48 miles or something like that. I don't need to charge to get back home, but I just wanted to try it out. And I was thinking about the whole pedestal over there. It's set up for not just 110, but for like what the other ones, the more like plug-in RV kind of thing. So I think it can handle 12 amps at 110 volts. So it's at 8 amps, it's saying 145 to charge from 25 to full. And if we pop it to 12 amps, you'll see it dips down quite a bit. Goes down to 6:30 a.m. tomorrow. And that's definitely before I leave, so I'm going to let that run. And we're charging at 2 kilowatts instead of 1 kilowatt. So, a little thing. Now that we've got everything all set up, the tent set up, the car's charging, let's kind of just walk around the Potrero County Park and see what we see. As we saw before, we're in campsite 22. There's the bathrooms and 2 of the cabins. And we'll just kind of poke around. Yeah, I like it. All right, not too far from our campsite is the trash and recycling. That's good to have. And looks like down here is more like tent only spots and day use parking. And yeah, and there's just a few people out. It is a Wednesday in early March, so that's to be expected, but that just enhances the peace and quiet out here. have made our way to the youth and group area. So if there's a big group of camping kids, they would come out here. And looks like there's some trails that head out from there. And we're kind of, looks like we're coming to the edge of the park because I see some just general houses out this way. There's one that looks kind of like a mansion, looks quite large for out here in the country. There we are. Don't know if you can see it. Yeah. Nice little sitting area out here. Yeah. Quite peaceful. Quick view of the men's restroom. It's kind of rustic, old style construction. Very basic, but it'll get the job done. There's the bathroom, shower. It is quite up. There's two. And here's a quick exterior view from one of the cabins. It looks like much like the other cabins I've stayed at in county parks. Very nice. Sunrise Cottage number 10. Peaceful. That pavilion, you kind of see, we can see inside a little bit. Looks like there's some picnic tables and stuff inside, so you can set up with a group. Yeah. Now that we're parked, I'm thinking about what I value, what I care about in a campsite, and I have a list. How quiet it is, what sort of facilities it has, the cost, nearby things to do, whether there's cabins available, whether there's cell coverage. That can be really important. I can tell you from experience that out at Agua Caliente there is no coverage inside. What sort of amenities they have, you know, playground stuff, fishing stuff, boats for rent, things like that. I drive an EV, so I also want to know if I can reserve a spot that allows me to charge an EV and if they'll actually allow it. And then the final one is the ease of getting there. If it's a really long drive for a short stay, that's not so great. But sometimes the drive itself is really pretty. For example, the drive out here was quite nice. On the 94, you go on the 94, changes from a freeway to a 2-lane road to a surface street to kind of a twisty road, and also Agua Caliente, which I mentioned before, is a really beautiful drive. You go up over the mountains, you go through Julian, and you go down into the desert. So those are some of the criteria I'm thinking of, and I'll kind of evaluate Potrero on those criteria. All right, it is the next morning. I slept okay, not great. I was going to kind of show you where we are now. The youth area is behind me, and I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but that funny little structure, the rest area that we went to yesterday, is right behind me, that way. And we're going to head up this trail, which is apparently called the There's a nice view of the whole campground. You can see how wooded it is and how peaceful this little valley is that it's in. I'll have to figure out what the name of that big mountain over there. I'm not sure. And this other one, I'll have to look that up. And I'll add it as a graphic. And there's that big old house over there. Kind of looks like a mansion in the country. We're now at the top of the outlook, and we can see some of the properties, the private properties outside the park boundaries. And as we pan around, we'll see one of the cabins, which kind of is a landmark for where we are. Where we are is behind some of these trees. Then I'll just scope around the valley a bit more. Really beautiful and pretty morning. All right, so that was our stay at Potrero County Park. When I get back home, I'll do the kind of the rundown of the score, and I'll tell you about some of the local attractions, some things beyond the park itself, and I'll get back to you with that. See you later.
At a point, he says a lot of things where you're like, okay.
And here are some more of the amenities. There's, looks like an amphitheater, another bathroom, kids playground. Those aren't in the campground area, they're more like in the day use area, but of course you can come out here if you're camping. So I didn't realize that when I was coming in. Just wanted to add those before we head out, before we get back to 94.
Alright folks, I'm back home. I had a really nice time. Nice peaceful overnight at Potrero County Park. So let's go over the kind of rating system I came up with. It was quiet. It was very quiet. The drive out there, you're on some major roads, but then you pull off. You go get off the 94, you go down Potrero Road, Potrero County Park Road, but then once you're in there, very quiet. That may be partly due to the fact that I was there on a weekday, but in terms of being near a busy road, absolutely not. Very quiet. The cost, kind of expensive. It was $47 for the night. Unfortunately, that's been going up. Camping fees have been going up for the last few years. Nearby things to do. There's the Campo Stone Store over in Campo. It's a little thing you can visit. And there's a railroad museum over in Campo. Cabins. Yes, there are 2 cabins you can rent. One is ADA compliant. They're about twice the cost of a camping site. They're like $88 a piece, something like that. Cell coverage. I'm on Mint, which is basically T-Mobile, and my coverage was okay when it was available and a little bit spotty sometimes. Amenities slash facilities. There were some ball fields, like baseball fields. There's some playgrounds, and there's a pavilion that you can rent. And charging my EV, yeah, definitely it could. It was available, it was allowed, and it worked just fine. It worked perfectly. And then finally, ease of getting there and how nice the drive is. I like the drive. It's just about an hour and 10 minutes from Hillcrest, downtown kind of area. You go out the 94, as I mentioned before, and it changes from a freeway to a surface road and then turns pretty rural pretty quick. And you go through Hummel, Missouri, and it gets kind of twisty, but not super twisty, so you're not distracted, but it's a fun drive. So overall, I think it's did pretty well.
Thank you for watching that video with Learn with Cameron. I'm Cameron, of course. So I really appreciate you watching that. And if you liked what you saw, do the usual YouTube things, LSS, like, share, subscribe. Thanks.